vincontroller.eu. Check vehicle history for every used car in Europe. Hey, do you remember how we talked about the Beetle being almost finished? And that we're searching for another project? Yup. I have an interesting proposition for you. An interesting proposition? Well, it's more than interesting. You'll like this one. So, what is it? It's a Toyota Corolla. I believe it's the E12 generation from 2002. But we have to check it out first. It's at my friend's house. Maybe he'll bring the price down. Wait, a Toyota Corolla? Do you mean the bland Japanese economy car? Well, the car is a bit of a grey mouse, but still, I think we'll find something interesting about this car. Alright, so do you have a license plate or something? We should check the car. Yeah, the license plate is BA022ZK. Alright, let me check the car, and we'll see what we find out. Alright then, let's check the vincontroller.eu. Okay, so we have some results, and we have some good news. Apparently the car has never been in an accident. It's not been stolen, if you can actually believe that. Nobody's leasing the car. So far, everything's looking pretty good. Let's check the car's documents. It's been imported in 2006. It was barely 4 years old at that point. Do you know where it's from? Think it's from abroad. Alright. Here's some info about a service at 0 miles, which was probably done right after the car was bought. And since then, it didn't go to authorized dealers. But there seems to be one big service in 2010. I wonder what was wrong with the car since they brought it to the authorized dealer all of a sudden. There's nothing bad that really stands out, except the car has 300,000 kilometers on the clock. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to tell you right now. I don't want this to be a nasty surprise for you, but the car does seem a bit ran in. I mean, obviously, it's not a new car, but still. Well, but the engine seems to be producing 141 kilowatts. That's the second thing I wanted to tell you. It doesn't look the best, but it's not a bad car. Alright, so we're buying this car for the engine. Now it makes sense. So we're taking the engine out and the whole car gets scrapped then? Well, we'll see. Let's go check the car out then. It even seems to be listed for sale. So, let's go take a look. Peter's still talking with the owner about the car. He's finding out more info about the service thing, since it was at an authorized dealer all of a sudden. We'll find out more about that later, but right now, I'm looking at the car, and I'm actually wondering if it will start, because it does look like it's been standing here for a bit. Well, it's going to be fun. Alright then. Will it start? Some giant sat here before me. Well, it started immediately. You can tell the mileage's not been tampered with based on the state of the steering wheel. It's really worn out. So, what do we have here? Several warning lights apparently. I know that the door's open, but the traction control light is on, and so is the VSC, which I have no clue what that is. And you forgot about the check engine light. Yeah, of course, the check engine light's on, so I guess something is messed up there. Now the question is, does the lights disappear once the car gets up to temp? Or should I just kill the engine right now? That's perfect! I bet that won't get annoying. Now this is something. Back when Peter told me we were buying the Beetle, I thought he was a complete madman. And when he told me we're buying this, at first I was like, what? Why the hell would we buy a Toyota Corolla? And now I think he's gone even more mad. But this car has something that you won't find on the used car market too often. And the final decision whether we buy the car or not is going to be made after we check the car at Job Garage. Hey, what's up? We switched locations, and we're currently at Jap Garage in Bratislava, our favorite specialist for Japanese cars. Right there is Zdeno, but he's hiding for now. But we've come here today to check the technical condition of the Toyota and finally decide whether we're buying it or not. Alright then. That is a question that we're going to have answered pretty shortly, because Zdeno is putting the car up on the lift, and we'll take a look at what the car needs. After that, we'll have to decide whether we take the car or not, and of course, try to move the price down a bit. Because as always, the owner has a price idea, which is rather different from us. We'll have to negotiate a bit, but I think it's time to leave it all to Zdeno, so that he can start checking this miracle. I'm pretty curious. The first achievement is that we managed to lift the car without any damages. Alright, so is the underside rusty? Well, the fenders are a bit, mainly the rear ones, and the skirts are starting to be a bit, but it's all still rigid. We can take a closer look at it. Yeah, we've gone through this on the Beetle, so we already know what body shop we're going to this time. No, we just know which ones we're avoiding this time. Alright then, let's start with the front suspension. I can immediately see that the whole brake system needs to be replaced. That's great news, we wanted to upgrade them anyways. The car needs new rotors, calipers, pads, just everything. Control arm bushings need to be replaced as well, so I'm just going to save everybody some time. The whole front suspension needs to be replaced, along with the dampers, since they are both leaking already. Yeah, that reminds me of a certain interesting car we had. It was pretty similar there. Alright, so we're definitely replacing the whole front suspension, as well as the engine mounts. The bottom front and rear are busted, and we'll take a look at the top ones later. Let's go on. Hey, wait. I can clearly see the oil pan is leaking. That's the oil pan, and the timing cover, valve cover. You can take this as a souvenir. Alright then. What was it? That should be the firewall isolation. Oh yeah, I can see it there. There's still some left. I think it's best to remove it all at this point. That might be a fire hazard. Well, here's the exhaust, and it actually looks kind of rusty. From the front to the back. Apart from the muffler in the back. I think it was changed recently for an original one. Which is great. I think the car's value just rose by a couple $100. Probably, yeah. Rear dampers need to be replaced, and the rear brakes, along with the wheel bearing, need to be replaced. You can hear how it's grinding. Now, the wheel bearings are going to be fun, because I can see ABS sensors integrated into them. That's not going to be a cheap part. I think they're around €100 if you're not buying OE. Or thereabouts. We'll have to go and check the current prices later. Same goes for the other side. Thankfully, the rear suspension is rather simple. That means we won't have to deal with 40 to 50 bushings, like with the Hondas. Okay, and when it's this rusty, can it stay? As long as it's not rusted through on the inside, which we can simply check by taking it off and looking inside, but still. But I just look at this spot. Alright, we're replacing the rear one as well. So, it shouldn't look like this, right? I don't think so. Anyways, we'll see. It's probably best to take it off and sandblast the surface, so that we know what we're dealing with. Oh, the owner has mentioned that the car has some sort of exhaust leak somewhere. Can you find it? Well, I've gone from the front to the back, and I can't really see a hole, and the joints don't seem to be leaking. But even this box doesn't resonate when I hit it. Well, you can definitely hear the leak while driving, so it has to be somewhere. It might actually be a dead catalytic converter. There's a good chance it's destroyed. We'll see. We'll run some diagnostics. Maybe we'll find out something new. There's also some paint peeling from here. Yeah, that's the front sway bar. I would definitely replace it along with the whole front suspension. I'd advise you to sandblast it as well and see how it looks under the paint. So, now we've removed the plastic engine cover, and we can see the whole intake and the valve cover, and both of them are leaking, just like the bottom of the engine. Also, some animal lived here. Come look in here. We have some fur here. Alright, so the car has 300,000 kilometers, and you can hear the timing chain needs to be replaced, along with the hydraulic cam lifters. You also have to replace the lift screws, especially on this engine. But considering the mileage, is it a catastrophe? Well, the engine actually seems to be in very good nick considering the mileage. It seems to have been serviced regularly, when it comes to oil at least. This spark plug isolation is burnt, and the spark plug gap is a bit too big. The tip does seem to have a pretty nice color, so that tells us that the fuel mix is not bad. The O2 sensor makes the engine run a bit lean, and the cat will probably need to be replaced as well. But there's still something missing. I think it's the wheel speed sensor. Alright, what does this mean financially? The catalytic converter will set you back around 400 euros for a new part and labor. And the rest should be ordinary problems, right? Yeah, keeping the mileage in mind, the O2 sensor is not surprising me. So the computer is telling me it's on bank 1, sensor 1. Here you can see a nice graph it's writing, in volts. Based on the volts it reads, it's trying to modify the air mixture. So I'm guessing you approximately know where the values should be. Well, first off, it shouldn't go into minus, so it shouldn't try to retard the timing. But at the same time, it shouldn't be a straight line. If it's reading a straight line, it's not reading correctly. The conditions inside the engine are changing all the time. So it seems there are some problems with the O2 sensor. It's saying that the air-fuel mixture is too lean, and the cat is not running at its best efficiency. But that's all the error codes I was able to read from this car. You've now witnessed Stano's monologue, and as you can see, he knows quite a bit more about the cars than we do. Just a bit more. But the result is, we'll take the car back to the owner, and let's try to negotiate a fair price. Something like he'll pay us 1,000 and the car. You'd be better off gambling with the money. In a certain sense, it's just as big of a gamble, but let's be serious for now. So we'll take the car back to its owner, Martin, and I think after we found out what's wrong with the car, he'll have to go a bit lower with the price. And then the final surprise is probably going to be whether we decided to buy the car, and whether we're really that stupid that we're going to get into another project with a questionable car. I believe there's a saying, you won't step into the same river twice. I believe we haven't left that river. I know it a bit different. You won't step into the same shoot twice. So, we'll meet Martin in a bit, and hopefully we'll be able to negotiate something. And then we'll find out whether we have really bought another project for us in shape of the Toyota Corolla TS, which looks like it's been through some stuff. Well, see you later. Hey, what's up, guys? Uh-oh. What brings you here today? I came to talk. About the money. Ah, about the money. Come in then. So, how much did it bring us? How much did you expect? Well, if you pay us 1,500 along with the car, it's going to be worth it. Wait, we weren't talking about any money on top of the car. We brought the car to a shop to have it checked, and the results weren't too great, to be honest. Well, that's a pretty bad shop. So, which components do we need to get replaced? Well, there's plenty. Well, there is a pretty big rust spot on the start tower, and we're probably only waiting for it to tear through. And the catalytic converter is rattling as well. Well, there's not much left of it to rattle, actually. Well, I told you it doesn't have a cat. Alright, but there's more. We found out that the synchro rings on the transmission are grinding. The brakes are squeaking as well. Wait, so you want your car to be silent? Well, I'd like to shift my gears once in a while. The brakes are completely busted, and so are the rear wheel bearings. Both of them. The whole rear suspension setup is completely rusted, so we'll have to get a new one. So, let's sum it up a bit. We can take the car off of you, and we'll try to make it the best Corolla it can actually be, because we're seeing a lot of potential in the car. I can see the potential as well, guys. I trust you guys will pour your heart into this. We're going to try our hardest, but it's also not fun investing 20,000 in a Corolla. Let's say it like it is. The car has a good engine, so it has some value. So it's definitely going to get rebuilt at Jap Garage. They'll have to disassemble it and check everything on the inside. And do the guys know what they're doing? Jap Garage? This is a Japanese car, you can't just give it to anybody. Do you know how many Opels they've worked on? Well, if they work on Opels, I'm not surprised they told you this stuff. No, they really told us that the engine needs to be rebuilt. We've counted a lot of stuff the car needs. And I can tell you it's several times the asking price. But wait, Pešta from another village told me it's in perfect shape. Apparently I should ask 6K and not debate anybody. Oh my god. Well, I think we have an offer for you. Our offer is €1,000. For the whole car. I think its condition mirrors the price pretty well. So it's recently been through technical checks. And I believe that's the only positive thing about the car. What do you mean? It sells with winter tires. You have a leather steering wheel. How old are those winter tires? Huh. I think he got them with the car when it was new. Old winter tires aren't the best bargaining chip, you know? To be completely honest, we're willing to give you €1,200 for it. You know what? 1,500 and we shake hands. And you never have to see me again, guys. He came down quite a bit, didn't he? Yeah, he did. What else is he selling? We can get that as well. Alright then, 1,500 was our actual top limit, so we can do that. So, 1,500. Is that okay? Alright. Really? Yep. Let's shake hands, but you're not taking the dog. Alright, without the dog. There is still one very important detail we wanted to tell you about this project. The Beetle is almost done, and we're almost ready to pick the new winner. One of you will win that car. Well, we told ourselves, this project started so well, and so many people entered. We told ourselves, we'll do this regularly. Twice a year, we'll pick a project car winner, and obviously you'll see the whole process, and it's going to be pretty similar. We buy a car, we modify it, and then we give it away. That means our members aren't losing any of their entries, they will simply just be counting towards the next project. Those people are going to have a higher chance to win the next project car. And again, in half a year, we'll show you another car. We could try to make it a poll. Each of us picks a project car, and we'll leave the decision on our viewers. Yeah, let's start with a McLaren, Ferrari. Yeah, just cars you see every day. Nobody's going to pay any attention to that. We'll see.